Roman Reigns reacts to The Rock's tease of a possible match this past Monday on WWE Day 1 last night on SmackDown. Paul Heyman addresses CM Punk, The Rock, and more ahead of Roman Reigns' big 2024. The Fatal 4-Way match has now been confirmed for the undisputed WWE Universal Championship at the Royal Rumble. Plenty of details on that. Plus, AOP and Paul Ellering make their return to WWE as they align themselves with Karrion Kross and Scarlett. Tyler Bate makes his SmackDown debut alongside Butch. Sky retains her Women's Championship. Kevin Owens is set to face off against Logan Paul for the United States Championship at the Royal Rumble after winning the United States title tournament. An update on Liv Morgan after her recent arrest. Triple H reportedly is looking for more international partners for WWE. A tag team match involving Sting is set for tonight's episode of AEW Collision. And Kota Ibushi apologizes and reveals the reasons why his poor performance was very noticeable in his recent match with Pro Wrestling Noah. Hey guys, welcome back to Wrestling News 365. Hope everyone is doing very well. As always, there are plenty of news stories to get into in the world of professional wrestling. Let's start off talking about Roman Reigns addressing The Rock's recent return tease this past Monday on the Day 1 edition of Monday Night Raw. As SmackDown kicked off last night, Roman Reigns gave his reaction to The Rock's appearance on Raw this past Monday, particularly dropping the line that perhaps he would soon be sitting at the head of the table. In an amusing opening to last night's SmackDown, Kayla Braxton was waiting for the arrival of Roman Reigns and Paul Heyman, popping out to ask the question on everyone's minds. Instead, she didn't get much of an answer from the tribal chief himself. Rather, he provided simply a reaction. Also, not too far off his original response from Monday on social media. Roman Reigns just laughed in her face and walked away. For his part, Paul Heyman opened his mouth as if he was going to respond, but then decided to walk away. Of course, The Rock made a big surprise appearance on Monday's Day 1 edition of Raw, where he dropped a single line in potential reference to Reigns, creating fan fervor about the potential matchup between the two. Now, when it comes to maybe a more of an in-depth reaction from the Roman Reigns camp, we can maybe look towards Paul Heyman, as he not only addressed The Rock, but also CM Punk, LA Knight, and others. On last night's SmackDown, Paul Heyman addressed The Rock, CM Punk, Cody Rhodes, and even name-dropped Taylor Swift in the process. After a brief appearance from Reigns earlier on the show, Paul Heyman addressed various hot topics on the SmackDown New Year's Revolution show. Kicking off 2024, Paul Heyman had comments that covered a lot of ground. With Heyman calling The Rock a headline chaser, he suggested that in the absence of dating Taylor Swift, the next thing anyone could do to go viral was to call out Roman Reigns. Essentially dismissing the comment from The Rock, Heyman noted that if you even hope to sit at the table, you'd have to be invited first, which he has not been. Heyman then moved on to discuss CM Punk, acknowledging that he was back and agreeing that Punk was the original Paul Heyman guy. However, Heyman also said that in years since Punk's departure, Heyman had upgraded from being a best friend to an advocate to now a wise man. Certainly, again, talking about a variety of different topics. Now, The Rock, for his part, has continued to, tease and speculate about a possible WWE match in the future. Now, after his surprise appearance on Monday's Day 1 edition of Raw, where he teased that possible match with the head of the table, it went viral. WWE has announced it's officially broken a record. On last night's SmackDown, WWE shared the clip of The Rock appearing on Day 1, and it had been viewed over 171 million times, making it the most viewed clip in WWE history. Surpassing the recently viral CM Punk return clip, The Rock was also grateful for the experience in front of the crowd on Day 1. Taking to Twitter shortly after last night's SmackDown, The Rock wrote, quote, 25 plus years of sacred connection with the people that I'll forever honor. This eruption at the end just hit different. I've experienced some very loud crowd pops, but this was different. Layers, chills, people's champ. So, continuing to stir the pot, where do you think this is going to go when it comes to The Rock, Roman Reigns? Could they be headed to WrestleMania? Could they be headed to Elimination Chamber? Could they be headed to a Saudi event match? Or could they be headed to just nowhere and we'll never see this match? Let me know your thoughts about that, as always, in the comment section below. But the more pressing concerns when it comes to Roman Reigns is the Royal Rumble, because he's going to be defending his undisputed WWE Universal Championship against 3 other opponents in a fatal 4-way match. Now, as the triple threat match to determine Roman Reigns' challenger for the undisputed Universal Championship at the Royal Rumble on last night's SmackDown wore on, all of LA Knight, Randy Orton and AJ Styles had the chances to win until the Bloodline decided that nobody would leave victorious. From there, SmackDown General Manager Nick Aldis took action, setting the stage for a wild scene in St. Petersburg, Florida in a few weeks' time. With Knight bloodied on the outside, Styles went for a phenomenal forearm on Orton, only to get it countered by an RKO out of nowhere. As Orton went for the win, Knight came to enough to pull referee Charles Robinson out of the ring, preventing the pin attempt, and all three started to get their bearings and regroup. Reigns' music hit, and out came the Tribal Chief, alongside Paul Heyman, Solo Sikoa, and Jimmy Uso. Ordering his minions to attack the challengers, Reigns would eventually join the fray, with the trio doing all of its damage right there in front of Aldis, who made his way over to Heyman with a message, saying, quote, "When Reigns is done celebrating," Aldis said, "tell him congratulations, because he's just earned himself a fatal four-way match with all three of these guys at the Royal Rumble." So, instead of getting a one-on-one encounter, we're getting a fatal four-way match. Could this possibly pave the way for Roman Reigns to lose the championship without getting pinned and possibly set up a match with Reigns and The Rock at WrestleMania? Is that the direction that they're going in, or do you expect Roman Reigns to retain? Let me know your thoughts and predictions about that as well. Now, we saw a big return last night on SmackDown, the New Year's Revolution edition of the show, as AOP and Paul Ellering are back. WWE's tag team division can expect a bit more pain in the locker room now. Akam and Razar, collectively known as the Authors of Pain, AOP, returned to WWE on Friday's episode of SmackDown. They, along with Karrion Kross and Scarlett, crashed Bobby Lashley and the Street Profits' almighty New Year segment. After Lashley declared himself for the Royal Rumble, Kross and Scarlett appeared on the ramp and stared devilishly on as AOP attacked Montez Ford and Angelo Dawkins from behind. Their beatdown ended with a super collider from AOP, which cleared the path for Kross to deliver a gruesome slam to Lashley. The Authors of Pain, along with their manager, WWE Hall of Famer Paul Ellering, accompanied Kross and Scarlett to the ramp following their destruction. Now, AOP's WWE return has been speculated multiple times in 2023, with the most recent report stating that Akam and Razar were expected to return sooner rather than later. Their association with Kross was also teased on the December 22nd episode of SmackDown, where three figures were referred to by Kross as authors. The pair quietly re-signed with WWE in August of 2022, and there is no confirmed explanation for the year-and-a-half-long gap between their signing and reappearance on WWE programming. The two are one-time NXT Tag Team Champions, one-time winners of the Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic, and also one-time Raw Tag Team Champions as well. Before Friday's installment of SmackDown, AOP was last seen on the March 9, 2020 episode of Monday Night Raw, where they aided Buddy Matthews, then known as Buddy Murphy, and Seth Rollins in a winning effort against the Viking Raiders and, interestingly enough, the Street Profits. What were your thoughts on their return, and where do you think this one is going? Now, last night we saw the SmackDown debut of Tyler Bate as well, as he partnered up with a familiar, I guess, foe, friend, whatever you want to call him. On the New Year's Revolution episode of SmackDown, fans were treated to the main roster debut of Tyler Bate, who arrived as Butcher's mystery partner for a tag team match against Pretty Deadly. The big strong boy lived up to his moniker while facing off with Elton Prince and Kit Wilson on his own, hitting a flying European uppercut and a standing shooting star press. Bate also took Wilson for a ride with his patented spin, delighting the Vancouver fans. After Butch assisted Bate with his signature Tyler Driver 97, Bate scored the pin to earn his first win on the main roster. Of course, Bate and Butch have a long history, as they were both part of the dominant stable British Strong Style in Progress Wrestling before their arrival in WWE. They would go on to become celebrated opponents in NXT UK, with Bate defeating Butch to become the inaugural NXT UK champion. The pair also had a critically acclaimed match at NXT TakeOver Chicago. As such, it's only fitting that Bate's main roster debut came alongside his longtime friend. So Tyler Bate seemingly now is officially on the main roster. Io Sky successfully defended her Women's Championship last night on SmackDown after Michin Mia Yim pinned Io Sky amid the chaos of a Holiday Havoc match. WWE Women's Champion match was set up between them, and it was no longer a matter of if but when. On Friday's episode of the New Year's Revolution edition of SmackDown, Yim and Sky got the opportunity to fight one-on-one for the Women's Championship. Yim was accompanied to the ring by Luke Gallows and Kyle Anderson of the OC, and Sky was escorted by Bayley, Dakota Kai, Asuka, and Kairi Sane of Damage Control. Neither party interfered in the match. The two women had an evenly matched contest. Yim nearly scored a victory after delivering a devastating Styles clash from the second rope, but the champion cleverly got her hand on the rope and broke the cover. It was big drop from there, quite literally, since she missed her target during a dive to the outside and landed on her stomach. Sky landed a picture-perfect over the moonsault and retained her championship with a clean 3 count. As of this recording, Sky has been the women's champion for an impressive 152 days. Sky has successfully retained her title over the likes of Asuka, Charlotte Flair, Bianca Belair, Zelina Vega, and now Michin Mia Yim as well. Now, we spoke about the Royal Rumble earlier on. More matches have been confirmed, one being a United States Championship match as the US title tournament has been completed. SmackDown opened with a bang Friday night as Kevin Owens defeated Santos Escobar to win the United States Championship #1 Contenders Tournament, with reigning US champion Logan Paul on commentary. With the victory, Owens will face Paul with the US title on the line at the Royal Rumble. Before the match even started, Escobar's former associates in Legado del Fantasma, Joaquin Wilde and Cruz del Toro, neutralized his latest cronies, Angel Garza and Humberto. Later, while Escobar was distracted, Owens came in hot with a cannonball and a splash off the top rope, which pleased Paul. Escobar spent most of the match focusing on the broken hand of his opponent, even stepping on his fingers outside of the ring. Paul, meanwhile, sarcastically played to the crowd as Logan Sucks chants rained down. After Owens planted Escobar with a DDT, followed by a suplex from the top rope and a cannonball off the apron, much to the enjoyment of the Vancouver audience, Owens' fellow Canadians, Santos countered by getting his knees up when Owens went up to the top. Owens would ultimately hit a pop-up powerbomb followed by a stunner to book his ticket for the Rumble. When the match was over, Paul got on the microphone telling Owens that him winning the US title would be like the Canucks winning the Stanley Cup. It's never gonna happen. Owens responded in typical Owens fashion by knocking Paul out with a single blow with the cast. Owens' tournament win comes as the result of 3 consecutive victories over former US champions Austin Theory, for the NXT champion Carmelo Hayes, and now Escobar. Bobby Lashley, Dragon Lee, Karrion Kross, and Grayson Waller also participated, with Lee and Lashley failing to Escobar along his path to the finals. Now, we've got a bit of an update when it comes to Liv Morgan and her status after her recent arrest. Now, last month, WWE superstar Liv Morgan made headlines after she was arrested for possession of marijuana in the state of Florida. According to a new report from the Wrestling Observer newsletter, though Morgan was initially charged with felony drug possession, her case has been transferred to a different division, and the felony will likely be reduced to a misdemeanor. Meltzer states that the first-time marijuana offenders in Florida are often able to pay a small fee and be able to move forward without anything on their record. Now, before this news emerged, it had already been reported that Morgan earned no ill will with WWE over this arrest. The 29-year-old has been out of action for quite some time due to a shoulder injury Morgan dealt with for several months last year, eventually resulting in her being written off television. Her last match took place on July 17, 2023, when she and Raquel Rodriguez dropped the Women's Tag Team Championships to Chelsea Green and Sonya Deville. Just days before her arrest, Morgan was spotted at the premiere of The Iron Claw, where she posed alongside the likes of AEW's MJF, John Cena, and Baron Corbin. Having been out of action for almost 6 months, and with her legal woes hopefully in the rearview mirror, Morgan should be poised to return to the WWE fairly soon. Now, this is quite an interesting story when it comes to Triple H looking for international partners. Now, current NXT superstar Charlie Dempsey has recently been working for All Japan Pro Wrestling, and according to the Wrestling Observer newsletter, WWE is seeking out Japanese allies in the wrestling world, with step 1 completed by forming a working relationship with All Japan Pro Wrestling involving Dempsey. The son of William Regal has wrestled 3 matches for the promotion since December 31st, 2023. This included how unsuccessfully challenging Katsushika Nakajima for the All Japan Pro Wrestling Triple Crown Championship. Nakajima has since teased a possible WWE appearance. Meanwhile, the Observer noted that there has been talk internally within WWE about trying to make another go at a working relationship with New Japan Pro Wrestling. The Bushiroad-owned promotion recently announced Hiroshi Tanahashi as the new company president, and that is reportedly considered a positive by WWE. However, with New Japan's partnership with AEW, particularly for the annual Forbidden Door pay-per-view, it would be a significant factor in proceeding with its established association with Tony Khan's organization. Additionally, AEW allows its top talent to work for New Japan, such as Bryan Danielson, who performed at Wrestle Kingdom 18 and New Year Dash over the course of the last several days. Earlier this week, it was reported that WWE was interested in working with New Japan's sister promotion Stardom. While no further details have been disclosed as of this recording, WWE does have connections with the Joshi promotion, with several former Stardom wrestlers performing on its roster, including Io Sky and Kairi Sane. Notably, WWE has reportedly been keen on bringing in current Stardom star Julia whose contract is set to expire in a few months' time in March. Now, tonight's another episode of AEW Collision on TNT, and we're going to see a tag team match involving Sting. Of course, in November last year, Sting announced that he will have his retirement match of his career at AEW Revolution in March of 2024. The event has since been announced for Greensboro, North Carolina, and has sold over 10,000 tickets for the show. However, the Stinger has been making stops on his retirement tour, and we now know when his next match will take place. Yesterday, Friday, January 5th, AEW President Tony Khan announced that Sting and Darby Allin will face the Workhorsemen on January 6th. That's today's edition of AEW Collision from Charlotte, North Carolina. Sting and Darby Allin are coming off the heels of an 8-man tag team victory alongside Chris Jericho and Sammy Guevara over Ricky Starks, Big Bill, Konosuke Takeshita, and Powerhouse Hobbs at AEW World's End. Also announced for tonight's episode of Collision, FTR will face the House of Black, and Eddie Kingston will defend the AEW Continental Crown Championship against Trent Beretta. Finally, an update on Kota Ibushi after there was a lot of concern over his performance in his recent match with Pro Wrestling Noah. AEW star and former IWGP World Heavyweight Champion Kota Ibushi has apologized for his performance in a recent match. At Noah New Year, Kota Ibushi defeated Namochi Marufuji in the main event. The match has been heavily criticized by fans on social media, with many fans noting that Ibushi looked in rough shape due to injuries. On Friday, January 5th, Ibushi took to social media to apologize to the fans for this bout, noting that he was scammed by a medical place called C5 Clinic. He wrote on social media, quote, "I was scammed by a place called C5 Clinic, which is spread all over the country, as I mentioned before. Take care of yourself, please. I think Noah will release information about my surgery, fractures, dislocations, etc. I'm sorry for the match, everyone. It's all my fault." Now, Ibushi was officially signed to All Elite Wrestling in the fall of last year. It had been reported that he was dealing with a broken ankle heading into the match, and very early on suffered damage not only to the originally broken ankle, but also his other ankle as well. Now, coming out of the event, Kota Ibushi was transported to a hospital due to the injuries to his ankles. He wrestled the main event of the show against Marufuji for 30 minutes. Now, as I mentioned, he apologized for his performance. He posted in a new tweet and noted that the inside of his left ankle has been messed up, and he's opting to undergo surgery. Now, since coming back from his shoulder injury, Ibushi has wrestled a total of 8 matches since 2023. In addition to that, he's since tweeted and teased the possibility of retirement as well. He said in another tweet, quote, "I came here with the goal of being able to do it for 20 years. I think it's about time. There's still a lot of things left on my contract, but I want to complete them. I try not to talk too darkly or think about the future, but I have to take care of my mother and other things, so I'll talk about it when the time comes. Don't miss a match." So as of this recording, we'll have to wait and see what happens with Kota Ibushi. The most important thing is that he heals up and gets all of the surgery and recovery that he needs. But there you go, guys. The latest pro wrestling news for you. Be sure to smash a like on the like button. Be sure to subscribe, bottom right hand corner. As always, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below, and I'll speak to you again very, very soon. Hey guys, thank you for watching, listening, streaming, or however you come across this video today. Be sure to click on the video on the right there to watch our next video, or click the bottom there to subscribe, or the bottom right hand corner. Thank you very much, and I'll speak to you again very soon.